Welcome back to What's Kenner French Thinking. I am your host, Elaine Mingus, and we have Kenner French here to tell us what he is thinking. Kenner French is the author of Modern Millions.AI, a #1 Amazon bestseller. Definitely go check that book out. But today we're going to be talking about how we can think about AI and small business and all the questions that kind of happen when you are a new entrepreneur, things that maybe you haven't thought about that we need to start thinking about. And even if you're brand new or you've been doing this for a little while, we're going to be talking about some things that really are at the heart of being a small business owner. I myself am a small business owner of a vintage furniture company, and it can be a lonely road, especially when you're adopting new technologies such as AI. And so, introduce yourself, Kenner, and just tell us what you're thinking right now.
What I'm thinking, what's kind of French thinking? Yeah. I'm the author of Modern Millions.AI, how to make millions, save millions, protect millions, all with the use of artificial intelligence. Somehow it became #1 in the Amazon bestseller list. And really, the reason I wrote the book, I wanted to get the word out about artificial intelligence. I started writing the book, if you really think about it, back in, this is crazy to say, 2010. Took a while for the book to percolate, but now artificial intelligence is more of a thing. And I think more people are starting to figure out that artificial intelligence can help. So what I'm out here doing is talking about artificial intelligence, not only utilizing AI to lower tax liability like we've done for so many years, but also how small business owners could implement AI and grow their business. So they're not only a small business owner, so they become a big business owner. And that's my aim. And I'm glad we're here chatting about it.
I love it. I love it. So, a lot of people, especially small business owners, think that income is their biggest problem. But what do you see as a financial person, as somebody who's written for Forbes and finances, who was the vice president of business retirement plans at Wells Fargo and worked for
Mhm.
ING? So, what are some of the real things that small business owners deal with that aren't because they don't have enough income?
Yeah, totally. Burnout. If it's not cash, it's burnout. And I think that if people are automating their business using artificial intelligence in almost every element of their business, they're gonna, they're gonna keep, what's the best way to say it? They're gonna keep some of the issues at bay. And specifically when I'm talking about the issues, I'm talking about the burnout issues because you can automate almost anything now. We could be automated. We have a system where we can AI you, AI me, and I don't even have to be there. All we have to do is type in a prompt. But what I would
You can
say is
AI this
that
podcast.
we totally can. But at the same time, that's not my deal. I'm not down with that. But what I would say is, as a business owner, you can automate anything, and that potentially means passive income. So you don't have to worry about burnout because you've automated everything. And so that's what I would say. I would say, AI can really do a lot as far as automation that would push off the huge issue of burnout.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think about when I started my business, 2019 is when I started
Mm,
my small business. If AI had been what it is today, I think I could have avoided some of the things that I did, some of
mm,
the problems that I encountered. One of the more recent ways that I was able to use AI was I was thinking about investing in a international trip. And I was kind of telling
mm,
AI what I'm doing and is this
uh,
a good investment? And it said, no, you need to focus on, this particular your one high ticket item. And it has
hmm,
made all the difference. I mean, it is like, had my masterclass, did my things and, signed for clients. And it's like, that's, you want to, you can use AI in such a way as a small business to help reduce the risk or, you know, take down the ego a little bit because it's not emotional. You're not talking to your dad and you're saying, "Well, you just don't
yeah.
believe in me." Well, AI is he's not like that. He's just telling you the facts and giving you the wisdom that you need as a small business owner. So, I agree,
Mm.
I agree. So, if you could see one financial number from a business owner from their brain, not their books, what would it be?
Um, Be a little bit more. That's a really good question. Give me a little bit more specifics. I'm trying to stall a little bit. Give me a little bit more in the way of specifics, and I can answer
Just
that even better.
talking about the mindset of a business owner.
Hmm. Yeah. So the finance, bookkeeping. I would say artificial intelligence can help in bookkeeping and cleaning up your books. And how do you know as an entrepreneur how you're doing financially unless your books are clean? So if you have a garbled books, you're not, having books for each endeavor or each LLC as an example, you don't know if one LLC is doing well over the other, i.e., you don't know if you're investing the right resources in the right spots as a result. So that's what I would say. Artificial intelligence goes a long way in helping with bookkeeping. We actually have a free bookkeeping service at vastbookie.ai where people could have free bookkeeping, and that really helps. I mean, it's free. Why pay for software that's, whatever, 40 a month, $40 a month? Or at the same time, why pay for a bookkeeper when you can have automated AI bookkeeping? So I would say artificial intelligence goes a long way in helping with your books as far as bookkeeping goes.
Yeah, and since we're in, like, you're talking about bookkeeping, we're in right now the season where we're gonna be filing our taxes for the last year. What is some ways that that AI is going to help small
Hmm.
businesses when they're filing their taxes?
Yeah. So that's a huge question. So artificial intelligence could do calculations, an unbelievable amount of calculations. And what I would say is that it can prognosticate what your tax liability is going to be. So early in the year, put in your numbers with good bookkeeping, by the way, and then that will actually prognosticate or predict what your cash flow is, i.e., what's your tax liability, and you could do things now to lower your tax liability. So that's projecting forward. You don't want to be a historian when you're doing taxes, meaning you don't want to April 15th hits and then all of a sudden you're paying your tax bill. What you want to do is prognosticate what your tax liability is going to be. Now, even still, what you just said is, well, okay, let's say we're looking back to do our taxes for last year as an example, for whatever the year is. Well, artificial intelligence can help look for deductions in your current situation to lower the tax liability. So not only could it predict what's going to happen in the future, but it could look back in the future and help you increase your deduction, i.e., lower your tax liability. Think about the positive elements. Now, a human, we need sleep. I like to go on vacation. A computer just looks at data 24/7. I mean, it could do so many more things than a human could do. I have over 10,000 people or 10,000 tax preparers in my clubhouse group, right? And one of the big things we teach is use technology as your friend. But there are so many tax providers, bookkeepers, that they don't use technology to the extent possible. So they end up, well, frankly, failing the customer because they're not using technology because they're using old school quote technology, which is not technology whatsoever. It's an unbelievable injustice to the client.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and talk about, you know, the statistical rate on how much AI makes mistakes versus the
Hmm.
human errors that happen in the tax world.
Artificial intelligence makes mistakes 14% of the time as we've figured out when we're talking about taxes and bookkeeping or financially versus a human makes mistakes 40% of the time. That's an assumption, by the way, and who knows how accurate that both numbers are. But hey, I know that. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that AI is going to be wrong less than a human. It's just, I mean, it just makes perfect sense. We call it a sigma rate in AI. 14% of the time, it's going to be wrong. Sure, it's going to hallucinate, et cetera, but it's going to hallucinate, if you will, less than the humans. And what I would say is, now, if you really think about that, so now let's say you combine humans over technology, that'll lower the sigma rate or the inaccuracy rate on the AI from 14% to whatever. Let's just say it's 10%. Wouldn't you rather be wrong, let's say 10% of the time versus 40% of the time? Probably so, especially if it could lower your tax liability.
Yeah, yeah. And y'all have a in-house GPT, if you will,
Mhm.
for your company. Talk about that.
Yeah, we started our own model called Einstein in 2018, where we figured, well, wait a minute, let's put together an artificial intelligence model to, help mitigate or lower tax liability. And it's been, I mean, it's gone through many iterations, but what I would say is it's been obviously beneficial because we have so many clients. We're growing as a company. We started in 1969. I took over in 2006, and now we're growing. We have, clients all over the country, some even, all over the world. I just heard from someone just today in Canada. So we have clients all over the world.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing, and I think that we really need to, you know, take take charge when it comes to our finances as small business owners. We
Mhm.
can't just let things be all willy nilly, and using, I know that for me, we're just kind of flying off the seat of our pants. If you were to use AI, or when you use AI, if you were a small business owner and you were saying, for me, I would say, act as my CFO. What would I what are some of the questions that I would initially ask AI that would really help me, set me apart as a business owner?
Yeah. What I should say is go to Modern Millions.ai, get our book. We have some workbooks there, some free resources, by the way, that can help pave the way towards, for a small business owner, using artificial intelligence to lower tax liability, to increase net worth, to, put a moat around your business and your assets as far as asset protection. But that's a good place to start. But kind of on top of that, what I would say is utilize artificial intelligence as your friend. You will be glad you did, because, man, it's so much more efficient than you would think to help increase net worth, to lower tax liability, and to help protect your assets. That's the first step, is have artificial intelligence in the car with you. Go to Claude.ai, or go to ChatGPT, go to Gemini, wherever the case is. The first step is utilizing artificial intelligence as your chief financial officer, if you will.
Yeah, yeah, I really love that. I mean, and you can use AI not just on that financial. You can get it to design your logo. You can get it to make
Yeah.
you a new headshot. Like, I mean, AI, the sky is the limit with AI. What are some of the personal stories that you've had rescuing or going through someone's books or saving people money that you or your team have worked with?
Yeah, we had a client, I'll change his name, I'll just say his name's, Victor. So as an example, he had a huge tax liability, and what we did was, he was a brand new client, we put him in our system in Einstein, and we figured out, the system found $40,000 in tax savings that he could have by making small little changes, 2 little changes to lower his tax liability. So think about that, that's $40,000. He's a real estate investor, right? In senior housing. So for him, he's going to bring in 2 different VAs, virtual assistants, based on that $40,000 of net tax savings. So think about that. So he's paying $40,000 to Uncle Sam, way too much, right? And now he's been able to hire, I don't know where these virtual assistants are, but let's just say they're in whatever, the Philippines. So if he's paying both of them $20,000 a piece, he's now helping their family, and $20,000 is a lot, right, in the Philippines. So he's helping both their families, and who knows, maybe their family, the people from generations on are going to be benefiting from such a tactic as saving $40,000 based on 2 little things that he did to lower how much he's giving to Uncle Sam. Instead, he's going to be able to help 2 different families to grow. And who knows, maybe he's going to grow his business that much more and hire more people. Maybe not even in the Philippines, maybe if that's where they are, and maybe even the US. It's really beneficial. And that's one example of how artificial intelligence can help, well, lower, in this case, lower tax liability.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. So I'm just so grateful that you're here, that we're talking about this, and that, the small business owner can kind of start resetting their mindset that I don't need to be overwhelmed with the taxes or my finances. I can use AI to answer. Even sometimes we have those stupid questions that we're scared to ask. And
Yeah.
ChatGPT is not going to tell on you. He's not going to he's not going to call you dumb. He's going to be like, that's a very interesting question. I'm so glad you're thinking right as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. So he's so
Totally
wonderful
true.
that way. Makes you feel like I am brilliant. I really am. I just don't know
I
this little thing that I forgot in grade school. I was taking a nap. And so it can just point out all the blind spots that we have. And so I definitely encourage you to use it regularly as a small business owner, not only for your taxes and your tax liability, but in general. And so is there any last parting wisdom that you would like to give our listeners?
Yeah, get started today. I mean, if you're afraid of artificial intelligence, it's the same thing as, opening an account online. All you have to do is go to whatever your choice is of LLM, as they call them. Let's say ChatGPT as an example, Gemini, which is Google. You could go to any large language model and start today. Get a relationship with it. I know it sounds crazy. When I say that, put in your information, your knowledge base about, let's just say, your financial situation. The more information that is good that you put in the model, the better the information that will be kicked out by the model. So if you don't want to spend time, well, you're probably going to get garbage out. So, they say garbage in, garbage out. Same thing here. The better the information that goes into the model, the better. So the better that comes out. So what I would say is, it's up to you. First, you got to have the relationship, if you will, relationship with the model. And then second, you have to put in good information. Now, if you need any help, we're here at vastsolutionsgroup.com. We have a community that helps people to start getting going with artificial intelligence. And at the same time, through Modern Millions.AI, we have kind of a community that outlines how to utilize artificial intelligence to help your financial situation. And then if you need help over and above that, we're here at valsolutionsgroup.com to help you as well.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Kenner, for joining us on What's Kenner French Thinking. And join us next week when we will ask the same question. Kenner, what are you thinking?
Sounds good.